If you were starting a national touring sprint car team today, who are you hiring as your driver? We'll talk about the options, plus dive into the stories around tonight's high limit show, Monday results, and a lot more. Let's go. It's Tuesday, July 25th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is Dirt Tracker Daily. High Limit Sprint Car Series is back in action at Grandview Speedway tonight in Pennsylvania, and there are a bunch of interesting subplots headed into this race. On social media yesterday, we got a look at the pre-entry list, which includes just 26 cars. In the hour since, we know of a few more that will be coming that aren't on the list, including Zeb Wise in the Redeem 26 and Danny Dietrich. That would bring the initial count to 28. Tonight's race is the 7th ever high limit show, including last year's one-off at Lincoln Park, and if the list holds, this will be the smallest car count they've had to date. The previous low was 31 at Tri-City back in May. I think it's important to understand, though, there are a lot of factors at play here. At this moment, it looks like Zeb is the only all-star competitor coming to race, when for a lot of these races, we've had multiple all-star competitors. I did a daily back on March 21st talking about this all-star Midwest swing potentially setting up some big trips for several drivers and teams if they were going to try to do both. And the three guys I talked about that day were Justin Peck, Tyler Courtney, and Hunter Schurenberg. Peck is racing tonight, but he's not a full-time all-star driver anymore. And Sunshine and Schurenberg aren't racing because Courtney's injured, and Clausen Marshall isn't coming with Corey Day because of the distance, and Schurenberg is out of the Vermeer 55, and he's been bouncing around to a bunch of different rides. Big props, though, to Zeb and Rudine for making this crazy week happen and for attempting to run both High Limit and the All-Stars. Another factor here is most of the Outlaw guys are either out of freebies or maybe have just one left. And my guess would be for those that do have one left that they'd be saving it for that 50,000 win show at Lernerville in September. Some other individual drivers who we've seen at a lot of these shows that aren't entered tonight include Brian Brown, Cole Macedo, Sam Haverteep Jr., Blake Hahn, Brady Bacon. Obviously, Brady's not coming. He's in the middle of Indiana Sprint Week. Austin McCarl, Aaron Reitzel, and Buddy Kofoid. I'm actually surprised, too, about how few Central PA guys there are on this entry list. I figured we would have seen some guys like Chase Deeds, Dylan Norris, Kyle Moody, Justin Whittle, Troy Wagaman, Cam Smith, Lucas Wolf. Some of those guys like that come through and run this event. One driver we will see, though, tonight is Lance Dewease. The Macri 39M is listed as TBA here, but it will be Dewease in the car. He obviously just got bounced from the Crite 69K, but with Justin Sanders not set to start with the Macri 39M until later this week, Dewease will drive it again tonight like he did at Eldora. Sanders had been driving the Swindell Speed Lab 39, but it sounds like we won't see that car again until Knoxville. So a bunch of reasons why the car count is down, and regardless of prize money and hype, this is just sometimes the nature of running a series. Coming into tonight, Kyle Larson has won 3 straight high-limit races. He leads the championship over Anthony Macri and Rico Abreu. I think Rico, Macri, Brent Marks, Justin Peck are probably the best picks for somebody to slow Larson's roll right now. Rico won a Speed Week show at Grandview back in 2022, and he might be the other favorite tonight. If you're doing pool picks or fantasy racing, don't forget I have the High Limit series in the database at dirttracker.com/analytics, so you can peruse the results and all of the stats over there. Tonight is live on Flow if you cannot get to Grandview. All of these recent driver swaps had me thinking lately, too. I had a friend text me the other day asking about drivers and rides, and if a team was going to go on a national tour, who would they hire right now? Their point was that the pool seems pretty small at the moment, and I would tend to agree. And as we talk about this, we have to eliminate anyone from this conversation who already has a big-time ride. So no Brad Sweet, no David Gravel, no Carson Macedo, no Sunshine. And a lot of guys like that. James McFadden, Buddy Kofoid, whatever. So that leaves us with guys who maybe drive their own stuff or free agents or regional guys. I do think Macri is an interesting possibility, as this Clausen Marshall deal is obviously only temporary until Tyler Courtney comes back. And then you've got guys like Hunter Schurenberg and Parker Price Miller floating around out there. They're running different rides, running their own cars, kind of whatever they can piece together. They would be available if you were starting a team. If you were in charge of this right now and you needed a driver for either an Outlaw or All-Star run or a big pick-and-choose schedule, something like Brent Marks, I feel like the options are pretty limited for drivers that are ready and good enough to make that leap. I think some other names you'd have to consider here are probably Corey Day, Chase Randall, Ryan Timms. They're like the 3 really young guys out there. And I think you could also reach maybe for a regional guy like Trey Starks or Shane Golubic. But if you were in this situation right now, who are you going after? Drop me a comment. Let me know what your decision would be. Before we move on, it's shameless merch plug time. If you want to support what I'm doing and get some cool swag at the same time, head over to shop.dirttracker.com. There are currently 3 different shirt options in stock, including the one I'm wearing right now, the blue with the new logo. There are 4 sticker options, but I am down to just the last 5 of the sprint car stickers currently. There are also 4 different color options of can koozies to keep that beer or soda cold. They look like this. There's multiple color options. I'm also working on another round of logo hats because I'm completely sold out of those right now. And then there's some other stuff in the pipeline as well. So stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. If you live in the US, any order of $20 or more ships free, as do orders of just stickers. If you order a sticker, a couple of stickers, I'm just going to put them in the mail with a stamp on them. It'll be free. You can shop anytime you want over at shop.dirttracker.com. Last night at Off-Road Speedway in Nebraska, the XR Super Series got their Elkhorn 100 event going with split field features. Devin Moran, Dalton Wilson bagged the 2 $5,000 wins. They'll start together on the front row of tonight's $100,000 to win main event. That win for Wilson should boost that team a bit. They've been battling the last several weeks out with Lucas, just a single top 10 in the month of July. Bobby Pierce, Ricky Thornton Jr., Kyle Bronson, Dennis Erb Jr., Jonathan Davenport, Hudson O'Neill, Tanner English, Shane Clanton. All of those guys are locked into tonight's feature. Everyone else who's there, I think it's 28 cars. Everyone else that's left of that group will participate in 2 B mains to set the rest of the field. Up to this point, the big XR wins this season have gone to Dale McDowell, O'Neill, and Pierce. We'll see if we can add to that list or if guys will grab a second win. O'Neill currently leads Pierce in the XR championship fight as well. After tonight, the XR Super Series will go to Gondik Law on August 7th, and then they'll have 3 nights at Alltech in October to end the season. As for the larger late model world, after tonight, the attention will very much turn to the World of Outlaws and the Prairie Dirt Classic this weekend at Fairbury. Now, if you're active on social media, I'm sure you've probably seen a lot of the chatter already. Indiana Sprint Week, Circle City last night. After what we saw over the weekend, it was nice to see a little bit of a tamer program. Some of the crazy crashes we've seen the last couple of nights. Kyle Cummins took the win after Xavier Doney and Carson Garrett led laps. It was Cummins' 4th USAC National Sprint Car victory of 2023. There continues to be a lot of shuffling in the championship standings, and headed to Terre Haute on Wednesday, Emerson Axum is on top right now, trailed by Brady Bacon and Justin Grant. Jake Swanson had a stretch of 4 races with finishes of 16th or worse, and although he's bounced back the last 2 races, he's now fallen to 4th. With 2 wins in 4 nights, Justin Grant leads the Sprint Week Championship at the moment. Had tipped to Doney last night for his best series finish and laps led for just the 2nd time in his career. And Carson Garrett really seems to be finding his footing lately. He's led laps in 3 of the last 6 races. I would not be surprised to see him find his way to a win before the year is over. Today is an off day for the USAC guys. Like I said, they'll be back Wednesday at Terre Haute. Up in Canada tonight, the Short Track Super Series makes its first ever trip across the border. I think that's a little surprising that a Northeast Modified Series has not ventured into Canada yet. They're at Autodrome Granby tonight. They'll hit up RPM tomorrow as well during this short kind of maple leaf swing. Matt Shepard currently leads the North Region standings for the series by 56 points over Matt Williamson. Shepard currently has 4 wins and 5 top 5s in 6 races. Granby does host weekly modified action, but it looks like Kerry Terrance is the only big block winner there in 2023. He scored back there on June 9th. That was with the Canadian Big Block Series. And one of the US-based series hasn't been to Granby since 2019. That was when the Super Dirt Car Series made a pair of appearances there. Larry White won in September that year, and Matt Shepard took the July show. Tonight's racing, 10,000 win program. We'll see if any of the locals can challenge guys like Shepard or Williamson for that big check. You can tune in live tonight on Flow Racing. Some other Tuesday night late model action to check out. The Southern National Series is headed to Toccoa for a 7,500 to win show. They've done 4 races so far. They had a few rained out. Jimmy Owens is the series championship leader right now by just 2 points over Carson Ferguson. Ricky Weiss, Donald McIntosh are also within striking distance. Owens, Dale McDowell, Ashton Winger, Zach Mitchell have all picked up victories so far. After tonight, the Southern Nationals series heads to Tri-County Racetrack in North Carolina. And at Davenport, Iowa tonight, the Mars Series is racing for 10,000 to win. Jason Fager is the current Mars points leader, and he'll be at Davenport tonight, along with Chad Simpson, Billy Moyer, Ryan Unzicker, Drake Troutman, and plenty more. Both of these late model shows are live on Flow as well, so you guys can double or triple box this thing if you want. For my iRacing guys out there, last night was round 3 of this current World of Outlaws Late Model Series season. They took on Cedar Lake Speedway. After what we saw last season and in the opener at Volusia a few weeks ago, I figured Evan C. was going to just run away with this thing, but not so far. He got outdueled a week ago at Fairbury by his teammate Blake Matjoulis, and that happened again last night. C started on the pole, but Matjoulis was able to grab the lead early and keep his friend and teammate in the rear view for the duration. C settled for second in consecutive weeks while James Edens finished third. C still leads the championship, though, because Matjoulis was fifth in the opener. The pair is currently separated by just 7 points. Kendall Tucker is the only other driver to finish top 10 in all 3 events to this point. Next up is Port Royal, but barring some sort of epic run by Tucker or maybe James Edens, this thing feels like it'll go back and forth between C and Matjoulis all year. You can watch these races at 9 p.m. Eastern on Monday nights on YouTube and Dirt Vision. That's it for the show today. Make sure to hit up that streaming schedule over at dirttracker.com/watch tonight if you aren't sure what to watch tonight. I hope you guys have a good Tuesday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.